All right, y'all. Wanted to talk a little bit about rumored potential offensive addition to the staff, Todd Monken for the University of Georgia, right? So Todd Monken's a guy I definitely been following for a minute, right? I remember him all the way back at Oklahoma State under Mike Gundy, right? So Mike Gundy's a guy that if you into the infrastructure of the game, he's one of these guys that you always pay attention to, whomever he has around him. So you see a lot of his guys like a Todd Monken and some of these other guys that he's had go on to different pastures, right? That's just for the fact that Gundy's going to be calling his own plays, but he's going to bring in guys with different ideas and different fresh approaches and everything. I actually have a contact that was on Todd Monken's staff, a couple of different stops, right? One at Southern Mississippi, and then with him at Oklahoma State. And that's actually the current running backs coach there, Coach Wozniak. So definitely we'll put in some time with him to really talk about the scheme if it does come to fruition there. But just from, I want to do right here kind of an exercise and pictures and really looking at how different this is than what Georgia has done and why this guy would technically need to be at the very least a passing game coordinator. But to me, he should be the actual OC because this is just way different, man. Now look at this. This is on first down. So first down, a true 10 personnel spread. You can see what that does for the defense there. Look at all that space. Even the linebacker, it's hard to counter that. There is no tight end in the game in this one. So you go now and you have 45 tight ends and stuff. You essentially have to leave some of these guys on the bench a lot. And so what does that do for the composition of your roster? That's why these type of teams have a ton of wide receivers because they're trotting a lot of them out there. So it's more room for injury and everything. So it's just your regular shotgun, queen personnel spread right there, but it has a true numbers grip. So that is a true offense, a true spread offense. And a spread, right, is how you're aligned, not a certain type of offensive principles or something like that, right? Obviously, the principles will go with that, but a spread itself in the truest form is just how you align your receivers. And if you see for the majority of the time, like even right here, right, second down, you got numbers, got a 3x2 with numbers grips, almost a plus split right there at the numbers by the receiver. The one at the bottom, though, is a running back, so they went motion to empty on this particular one. But you playing out there in a lot of space, you got to have guys who are quick and able to really work the quick game. So that's why them yards at the catch and everything like that is very imperative because you want that defense to start to cheat up, and that's when you start bombing them over the top, right? And you probably encounter a little bit more, probably a little bit more split safety coverage, right? Because these guys want to keep it in front of them, but that just goes to what you want to do. All right, we have pistol strong here, so running out of your 11 personnel set. I like this particular setup for the fact that pistol allows with the downhill run game, right? So downhill run game, so you're able to run some of your power plays out of this and run some of your trap plays, but you can also run some of your ISO plays here. You got what they called at Oklahoma State kind of like a cowboy back, right? So that's just what's in their particular playbook, but obviously it's just an H back, but you can see the offset alignment of it. They'll have it sometimes sniff behind the guard. They'll have just a ton of things to do when they do have some of this 11 personnel stuff. So 11 personnel, one tight end. So imagine having a whole bunch of these guys on the roster. Then what do you do with them? Like it seems funny to go out and get a graduate transfer and then go and grab a guy like this to help with your offensive scheme. If you do employ this, whatever like that. So maybe he comes in and just helps out with some of the stuff that they were already doing, add some new ideas to that. But I think it's time for a change, right? Even Nick Saban said it's time for a change for guys who are like Coach Smart. And to me, you would want to run what this guy runs. Let him implement his offense. He's done it at the highest level. Todd Monken at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Cleveland Browns and everything. But this is where you can run your ISO plays and everything, and you get that downhill flow. So I know Coach Smart probably liked this particular set. All right, here we go. On this one, you have a plus split at the top, numbers grip at the bottom, empty set on third down. Obviously, if you have a mobile QB, your designer QB run game right here will be pretty cool because of the lack of bodies on the inside, right? So, or even trying to push it to the outside, right? If you push it towards the field, maybe if he's a good enough athlete, a cat like Jamie Newman or something like that, he could probably be pretty effective in this or pretty impactful. What I like about these type, because of the way it's positioned, you can go tempo. And most of the time you would have these guys, instead of moving them around like you see in other offenses, just have them play to a certain side. So that way you can line up quick, right? They don't have to run across a formation and be aligned on this particular spot on this play and then go to another the next play, right? Just have them sit up in line it the same way each time. So you don't get the variation from those guys, but, man, it's very impactful and very explosive and quick. But obviously by explosive and quick, I meant by how quickly you set up. All right, we see a 2x2 right here looking very LSU-ish, right? So obviously if you pack them in tighter, you have a reduction in splits by the receivers. This is I don't see a tight end out here on the field. So this is 10 personnel, right? So with them countering with a couple of different linebackers, could be hell on wheels for them because they have to cover these guys in these tight areas. And it also packs more people into the box. And then you have most of your cheese being made on the outside. So, man, I really love this type of work, right? This is very air raid-ish. And I could see some really different things happening for the University of Georgia. Now, different doesn't always make something better, but sometimes you just need to change to move yourself along, period. That's with anything in life. So sometimes an evolution is necessary, and I feel as though it's pretty much time for that for the University of Georgia, at least on the offensive side of the ball. Right here you have pistol alignment, and this time the H-back working more as a sniffer, right, closer to the line of scrimmage. So they have a whole bunch of different ways. There's even more than this, a whole bunch of different variations of what they do, and something that I think could potentially propel the University of Georgia to the next level on offense. The defense is going to be sick no matter what. I wholeheartedly believe that in the way they recruit. Remember, defense is about effort. Defense is about hustle. Offense, man, you got to be able to scheme it up, right? Especially in this particular day and age. So I like to see how they incorporate this with a lot of the run concepts and see if Coach Smart is able to go outside of himself and do something different like he's seen from his peers or his guys in the business like a Coach O or Nick Saban who tried a different approach on offense, right? With that being said, it's your boy Murf, the Underground King, Top Billing Sports, and I am out. Peace.
What more can I say? Top billing.